The alarm bells rang through the space station like screaming voices in the dark. Officer Veltar's crystal body glowed bright red as he stared at his screen. His 6 arms moved fast across the control panel, but his heart was beating like a drum. In all his 40 years of watching space, he had never seen a message like this. The signal came from the far edge of the galaxy, where the peaceful fish people called Kellians lived. They were good people who never hurt anyone. They spent their time healing sick aliens and making peace between fighting worlds. But now their planet was sending out the worst kind of message possible. Veltar read the code again. Species extinction event. The last time anyone used this code was 200 years ago, when the metal monsters called Void Stalkers tried to eat every living thing in the galaxy. Everyone thought those monsters were dead and gone forever. The message was breaking up with static and noise. Veltar could hear explosions and screaming in the background. Then came the words that made his crystal skin turn cold. "They are taking our children." The Void Stalkers came back. "We cannot fight them. Please, someone help us. Make them pay for what they did to us." The message ended with a loud crash, then nothing but silence. Veltar's hands shook as he called his boss. Within minutes, the emergency team was running into the control room. The team had members from 12 different alien races, but only one human. His name was Jake Harrison, and he was tall with brown hair and serious eyes. Most aliens thought humans were strange because they came from a world where everything tried to kill them, but Jake was smart and helped solve problems. Jake looked at the screen and his face went white. "Show me everything," he said in a quiet voice. Veltar played the message again. Jake listened without moving, but his hands slowly turned into fists. When the message ended, Jake asked, "How long ago did this happen?" 6 hours, Veltar said. "We tried to call them back, but no one answers." Jake walked to another screen and started typing fast. Numbers and pictures filled the screen. It showed the Kellian world from space, but something was wrong. The planet that used to be blue and beautiful was now gray and ugly. Big black ships surrounded it like flies around something dead. "Look at this," Jake said, pointing at the screen. "These ships are the same design as the old Void Stalker ships from the history books, but they are much bigger now." An alien with purple skin and 4 eyes named Zixtel spoke up. "Maybe we should send a message to them. Ask them what they want. Perhaps we can make a deal." Jake turned around slowly. His eyes were cold and hard. "Zixtel, you do not make deals with things that eat children. The Void Stalkers do not want money or land. They want to turn every living thing into fuel for their machines." Dr. Nimra, a gentle healer with soft blue fur, stepped forward. "But surely there must be another way. We could offer them something else. Resources, technology, anything but violence." Jake pulled up more pictures on the screen. They showed other worlds in the same area of space. All of them were gray and lifeless. These planets used to have billions of people living on them. Now they are empty rocks. The Void Stalkers already ate everyone. The room went quiet. Everyone stared at the pictures of dead worlds. The alien leaders looked scared and confused. They had lived their whole lives on safe worlds where the biggest danger was bad weather. They had never seen real monsters before. Jake walked to the center of the room. The Kellians lasted 6 hours against these things. They had good weapons and strong shields, but it did not matter. Other worlds went quiet even faster. This is not a small raid. This is the beginning of something much worse. Commander Thelos, the leader of the emergency team, made a soft clicking sound with his mouth. "What do you think we should do, Jake?" Jake was quiet for a long moment. He looked at all the scared faces around him. These were good people who had never hurt anyone. Their warships were really just exploration ships with small weapons for protection. They had never fought a real war because they never needed to. "You need to call for evacuation ships," Jake said. "Start moving people away from the outer worlds. Get them to the safe core systems as fast as you can." "How many people are we talking about?" Dr. Nimra asked. Jake looked at his screen again. "About 50 billion people live in the danger zone, maybe more." The room filled with worried voices as the aliens started talking all at once. 50 billion people was more than some entire species. Moving that many people would take months, maybe years. But Jake was not listening to them anymore. He walked to his personal communication device and pressed several buttons. The device made a beeping sound, then a red light came on. Jake spoke clearly into the device. "This is Commander Jake Harrison, Galactic Council representative. My code is Omega 77. We have a species extinction event happening right now. The Void Stalkers are back and they are killing everyone. I need the Deathworld fleet sent here immediately." "Send the Deathworld fleet now?" The other aliens stopped talking and stared at Jake. They had never heard of a Deathworld fleet before. But the way Jake said it made them think it was something very dangerous. Jake waited by his device. The red light blinked for 2 minutes that felt like hours. Then a voice came through, speaking in the human language. Message received and understood. "Deathworld fleet is moving now? Admiral Lisa Carter is in command. We will arrive at your location in 72 hours. Tell the Council to keep their ships away from the fight zone. We are bringing everything we have." Jake turned off his device and looked at the other aliens. They were all staring at him with wide eyes. "What is the Deathworld fleet?" Commander Thelis asked. Jake's face was serious and cold. "It is what happens when you make humans angry enough to fight a war." Admiral Lisa Carter stood in the command center deep under the Earth's surface. The room was filled with screens showing numbers and star maps. Red lights flashed everywhere as thousands of people ran around getting ready for war. Lisa was a tall woman with gray hair and scars on her hands from old battles. She had been waiting for this day for 20 years. "Admiral, the message from Jake Harrison is confirmed," said Captain Ryan Bell, a young officer with short black hair. "The Void Stalkers are back and they are killing entire worlds." Lisa nodded and walked to the biggest screen in the room. It showed the solar system with hundreds of small lights moving around Earth. Each light was a warship waiting for orders. These were not the small patrol ships that most people knew about. These were the secret weapons that humanity had been building since they first went to space. "How long to get the fleet ready?" Lisa asked. 12 hours to load everything, Admiral. "Another 60 hours to reach the Galactic Council," Captain Bell replied. Lisa pressed a button on her desk and spoke into a microphone. "This is Admiral Carter to all ship commanders. We are going to war. The enemy has been killing peaceful people for fun. We are going to stop them forever." Far above them, in the darkness of space, the Deathworld fleet came alive. The biggest ship was the UES Vengeance, a massive monster made of black metal and anger. It was 3 kilometers long and carried enough weapons to destroy a small moon. The ship's armor was made from metals that came from the bottom of Earth's deepest oceans, where the pressure could crush anything soft. Captain Ben Rodriguez walked through the halls of his ship, the UES Thunderstrike. His crew was loading weapons and checking systems. These were not soft people from safe worlds. These were humans who had grown up on a planet where storms could kill you, where animals hunted people, and where even the air could be poison in some places. "Captain, all weapon systems are ready," said Lieutenant Kelly White, a small woman with quick hands and sharp eyes. "We have enough ammunition to fight for 6 months without stopping." Ben smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Kelly, we will not need 6 months. The enemy does not know what they have started." In another part of the fleet, Captain Amy Foster was preparing her crew on the U Stormbreaker. Amy was known for being the best tactical officer in the human fleet. She could see patterns in battles that other people missed. She was studying the reports from the Hellion attack, looking for ways to hurt the Void Stalkers. "The enemy uses big ships and lots of firepower," Amy told her officers. "They win by scaring their enemies before the fighting starts. But they have never fought someone who is not afraid of them." The most secret ship in the fleet was the UES Extinction, commanded by Captain Steve Murphy. Steve was an old soldier with gray hair and cold eyes. His ship carried weapons that were so dangerous that most countries on Earth had made them illegal. But these were not normal times. "Sir, the experimental weapons are ready," said his second-in-command, Lieutenant Paul Green. "The gravity bombs are loaded and the reality shells are in place." Steve nodded slowly. "Good. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you hurt innocent people." Back in the command center, Lisa was talking to the president of Earth on a secure channel. The president was a serious man who understood that sometimes peaceful people needed dangerous protectors. "Lisa, the whole galaxy is watching," the president said. "They think we are just another peaceful species. They have no idea what we are really capable of." "Sir, they are about to learn," Lisa replied. "For 300 years, we have been building weapons and training soldiers for a war we hoped would never come. Today we find out if we were ready." Lisa turned to her staff officers. "Send the order to all ships. We jump to hyperspace in 1 hour, full battle formation. No ship travels alone." The fleet began to move. One by one, the warships fired their engines and started flying toward the jump point. The UES Vengeance led the way, followed by 12 other big ships called dreadnoughts. Behind them came 30 destroyers like the Thunderstrike, fast ships built for quick attacks. Around them flew hundreds of smaller ships, each one carrying enough firepower to conquer a small planet dot as the fleet moved through space. Lisa thought about the message from Jake Harrison. 50 billion people were in danger. Entire worlds were being eaten by machines. The peaceful aliens of the Galactic Council were scared and confused. They had never seen real evil before, but humans were different. Humans came from a world where everything tried to kill them. They had survived ice ages, volcano eruptions, and diseases that killed millions. They had fought wars against each other for thousands of years, learning how to be the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. "Admiral, we are ready to jump," Captain Bell reported. Lisa looked at the screen showing the fleet. Every ship was in position. Every weapon was ready. Every soldier was prepared to fight. This was humanity's first real war since they joined the galactic community. But it would not be their last. "All ships, this is Admiral Carter," Lisa said into her microphone. "We are going to save people who cannot save themselves. We are going to stop monsters who eat children. We are going to show the galaxy that sometimes the only way to keep peace is to be very good at war." The fleet jumped into hyperspace, tearing open space itself. The ships disappeared into the void, leaving behind only the memory of their passing. In 72 hours, the Void Stalkers would learn why Earth was called a death world. They would learn why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy dot, and they would learn why making humanity angry was the last mistake they would ever make. The human fleet came out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kallian system like hungry wolves smelling blood. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, looking at the screens that showed what the Void Stalkers had done. Her hands squeezed the metal rail so hard that her knuckles turned white. The planet that used to be blue and beautiful was now gray and dead. The oceans were gone. The cities were empty holes in the ground. Giant machines the size of mountains floated around the planet like metal vultures, sucking up the last bits of life and turning them into fuel. "Dear God," whispered Captain Ryan Bell, staring at the screens. "They ate everything." Lisa's face was hard as stone. "Not everything, not yet. But they are going to pay for what they did." On the bridge of the UES Thunderstrike, Captain Ben Rodriguez was counting enemy ships. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Kelly White, was working fast at her computer, trying to understand what they were facing. "Sir, I count 47 enemy ships," Kelly said. "The big ones are each about 2 kilometers long. They have weapons I have never seen before. Energy readings are off the charts." Ben smiled, but his eyes were cold. "Kelly, they have never seen our weapons either. Let's see how they like a fair fight." The Void Stalker ships were ugly things that looked like they were made from nightmares. They were black metal with sharp edges that seemed to cut through space itself. Red lights pulsed along their hulls like infected wounds. These ships had been killing peaceful aliens for months, and they were confident that nothing could stop them. The first contact happened when a Void Stalker patrol ship spotted the UES Vengeance. The alien ship was half the size of the human dreadnought, but it moved toward them without fear. The Void Stalkers had never met anyone who could fight back. On the bridge of the alien ship, the Void Stalker commander looked at the human vessel with interest. It was bigger than most ships they had seen, but it looked simple and crude. The alien commander decided to capture it instead of destroying it. Fresh meat was always welcome. The Void Stalker ship opened fire with weapons designed to disable and capture. Bright green energy beams hit the Vengeance's hull and spread across the armor like water. The aliens expected the human ship to stop working and surrender. Instead, the energy just disappeared into the armor-plating dot on the Vengeance. Captain Amy Foster was controlling the weapon systems. She had been waiting for this moment for years. "Admiral, enemy ship has fired on us. No damage reported. Should I return fire?" Lisa's voice was quiet and deadly. "Amy, show them what human weapons can do." Amy pressed a single button. The Vengeance's main guns fired once. The plasma beams that came out were white-hot and moving at nearly the speed of light. They hit the Void Stalker ship and went right through it like it was made of paper. The alien ship did not just explode. It came apart in pieces, each piece burning as it spun away into space. The Void Stalker commander had just enough time to realize that he had made a terrible mistake before he died. Every Void Stalker ship in the system turned toward the human fleet. Alarms were ringing on their bridges. The aliens were confused and angry. How could these simple creatures destroy one of their ships so easily? Captain Steve Murphy, commanding the secret ship HFY Extinction, watched the enemy fleet forming up for battle. His ship was smaller than the others, but it carried the most dangerous weapons humanity had ever built. "Sir, the enemy is moving toward us in attack formation," reported Lieutenant Paul Green. "They look angry." Steve laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Paul, they have no idea what angry really means. Charge the gravity weapons." The Void Stalker fleet attacked with everything they had. Hundreds of energy beams and missile weapons flew toward the human ships. The aliens were used to overwhelming their enemies with superior firepower. But humans had learned to fight on a world where everything was trying to kill them. The human ships moved like dancers in a deadly ballet. They twisted and turned, using the gravity of nearby planets to help them dodge the enemy fire. When the alien weapons did hit, they bounced off armor that was designed to survive the pressure at the bottom of Earth's oceans. Captain Ben Rodriguez led his destroyers in a flanking attack that showed how humans really fought. His ships moved in perfect formation, each one covering the others. They used asteroids and space debris as cover, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. "All ships, this is Admiral Carter," Lisa's voice came over the radio. "The enemy has shown us what they can do. Now let's show them what we can do, all weapons free. No mercy for child killers." The human fleet opened fire with weapons that made the Void Stalker's technology look like toys. Plasma cannons that could melt through a kilometer of solid rock. Railguns that fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. Missile systems that could track their targets across entire star systems. The HFY Extinction fired its secret weapon at the largest Void Stalker ship. The gravity bomb did not explode like normal weapons. Instead, it created a tiny black hole that lasted for just a few seconds. But those few seconds were enough to crush the enemy ship into a ball of twisted metal the size of a car. The battle was not even close. The Void Stalkers had spent centuries fighting peaceful aliens who tried to talk their way out of trouble. They had never fought anyone who understood that sometimes the only way to save innocent lives was to be very good at killing bad people. Captain Amy Foster watched her tactical display as human weapons tore through the enemy fleet. "Admiral, the enemy is trying to retreat. They are running away." Lisa's smile was cold as winter. "Amy, let them run, but not very far. We want them to tell their friends what happens when you mess with our galaxy." The battle for the Kalian system turned into a nightmare for the Void Stalkers. What they thought would be an easy fight became their worst defeat in 1,000 years. The human ships moved through space like angry sharks, hunting down every enemy vessel that tried to escape. Captain Steve Murphy's HFY Extinction faced the biggest Void Stalker ship, a massive command vessel that was 3 times larger than any human ship. The alien monster had weapons that could destroy planets, but Captain Murphy was not afraid. He had fought in wars where being scared meant you died. Sir, the enemy ship is charging some kind of superweapon, Lieutenant Paul Green reported. Energy readings are incredible. If that hits us, we will not survive. Steve looked at the screen showing the enemy ship. It was ugly and covered in spikes like a metal disease floating in space. Red energy was building up around its main weapon, getting brighter and brighter. Paul, load the reality shells, Steve said calmly. Let's see how they like our best toy. The Void Stalker command ship fired its planet killer weapon. A beam of pure destruction shot toward the extinction, hot enough to burn through a moon. But the human ship was ready. Instead of trying to dodge, Steve flew straight at the enemy beam. The extinction's experimental shields turned on just as the alien weapon hit. The shields did not just stop the attack. They ate it, turning the enemy's own power into fuel for human weapons. The alien beam disappeared into the human ship like water into a sponge. Now it's our turn, Steve said. Fire the reality shells. The extinction fired weapons that should not have existed. The reality shells were bullets that could change the basic laws of physics in a small area. When they hit the Void Stalker command ship, the alien vessel began to twist and bend in impossible ways. Its own mass turned against it, crushing the ship from the inside. The enemy command ship folded in on itself like a piece of paper being crumpled up. For a moment, it became a tiny point of light that hurt to look at. Then it exploded into a brief black hole that sucked in 3 nearby Void Stalker ships before disappearing. Meanwhile, Captain Ben Rodriguez was leading his destroyers in a hunt that showed how humans really fought. His ships, the UES Thunderstrike, UES Stormbreaker, and UES Lightning, worked together like a pack of wolves. They used the gravity of planets and moons to help them move faster than should be possible. Target the harvesting ships, Ben told his fleet. Those machines are eating what's left of this world. We stop them now. The human destroyers attacked the giant harvesting machines with weapons designed to cut through the toughest materials on Earth, plasma cutters that could slice through mountain ranges, explosive shells that could level entire cities, the alien machines, built to process soft organic matter, could not handle weapons made for war. Lieutenant Kelly White, working on the Thunderstrike, coordinated the attack on the harvesting fleet. Her computers showed her exactly where to hit each machine to make it stop working. Sir, if we hit the power cores just right, we can make them explode from the inside. Ben grinned. Kelly, you are thinking like a true human. Do it, the destroyers fired together, their weapons hitting the harvesting machines at exactly the right spots. One by one, the giant machines exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Each explosion sent pieces of alien technology flying through space like deadly fireworks. On the bridge of the UES Vengeance, Admiral Lisa Carter watched the battle with cold satisfaction. The Void Stalkers were learning what happened when they picked a fight with apex predators, but she was not done with them yet. Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the remaining enemy ships, Captain Ryan Bell reported. They are trying to surrender. Lisa's face did not change. Put them on screen. The face that appeared on the screen was not quite human and not quite machine. It was the face of a Void Stalker commander, his metal parts sparking and his organic parts bleeding. He looked scared, which was something new for his species. Human vessels, the alien said in broken English. We yield. We surrender. We will leave this system and never return. Lisa stood up slowly. Her voice was quiet, but everyone on the bridge could hear the anger in it. Commander, you killed billions of innocent people. You turned children into fuel for your machines. You ate entire worlds because you thought no one could stop you. The alien commander's face showed confusion. But we surrender. By galactic law, you must accept our surrender. Lisa smiled, but it was the kind of smile that made people step backward. Commander, humans do not follow galactic law when it comes to genocide. We have our own law, an eye for an eye. You took lives, so we take yours? Before the alien could respond, Lisa cut the transmission. She turned to Captain Amy Foster at the weapons station. Amy, finish them. The human fleet opened fire with everything they had. The remaining Void Stalker ships tried to run, but it was too late. Human missiles chased them through space, guided by computers that never missed their targets. Human energy weapons reached across millions of kilometers to burn through alien armor. The last Void Stalker ship died in a ball of fire that lit up the entire system. The threat that had terrorized the galaxy for months was gone in less than 6 hours. Jake Harrison's voice came over the radio from the Galactic Council ships that had been watching the battle from a safe distance. "Lisa, it's over. You did it. The Void Stalkers are finished." Lisa looked at the screen showing the dead planet below them. "No, Jake, this is just the beginning. We saved this system, but there are more threats out there. The galaxy needs to understand that peaceful people need dangerous protectors." The human fleet began to spread out through the system, their sensors searching for any remaining enemies. But the Void Stalkers were truly finished. The species that had eaten worlds was now nothing but space dust and bad memories. The galaxy would never be the same. Everyone now knew that humans were not just another peaceful species. They were the most dangerous hunters in known space, and they had just announced their presence to the universe. 6 months after the battle, Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Defense Station. The huge space station floated between Earth and the Galactic Center, a symbol of the new order that humans had created. Through the thick windows, she could see human and alien workers building together, creating something that had never existed before. The galaxy had changed in ways that no one expected. The news of humanity's victory over the Void Stalkers had traveled faster than light itself. Every alien species in known space now knew that the peaceful humans they had ignored for years were actually the most dangerous warriors anyone had ever seen. Captain Ben Rodriguez walked up beside Lisa, carrying a report in his hands. His ship, the UES Thunderstrike, was now the flagship of the new Galactic Defense Force. "Admiral, we just got word from the Outer Rim. The Krath Empire wants to talk peace terms." Lisa smiled. The Krath had been bullying smaller species for decades, taking their planets and enslaving their people. But after seeing what humans did to the Void Stalkers, even the mighty Krath were afraid. "What are they offering?" "Complete withdrawal from all occupied worlds. Full independence for every species they conquered. And they want to pay for the damage they caused," Ben said, shaking his head in amazement. "They are scared to death of us. Down on the dead planet that used to be." Kelia, something amazing was happening. Human engineering teams had been working day and night to bring the world back to life. Using technology that combined Earth's harsh environment knowledge with advanced alien science, they were rebuilding the planet's atmosphere and oceans. Captain Amy Foster stood in the main terraforming facility, watching as machines pumped water and air back into the dead world. Her team had figured out how to reverse the damage that the Void Stalkers had done. It would take years, but Kelia would be beautiful again. "Captain, we found them," Lieutenant Kelly White said, running into the facility with excitement in her voice. "The survivors. There are Kellians still alive in the deep ocean shelters." Amy's heart jumped. They had hoped that some of the people had survived, but finding them was like finding treasure. How many? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. "They have been hiding in the deepest parts of the ocean where the Void Stalkers could not reach them," Kelly said. "They want to meet the humans who saved their world." The meeting happened in an underwater dome that human engineers had built. Amy and her team swam down to meet the Kellian survivors. The fish people were beautiful, with silver scales and large eyes that showed wisdom and sadness. The Kellian leader, an old female named Solara, spoke in a voice like singing water. "We saw what you did to the monsters that killed our people. We saw ships that moved like hunting fish and weapons that burned like small suns. How did you become so strong?" Amy thought carefully before answering. "We come from a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to be strong because we had to be. But we only use our strength to protect people who cannot protect themselves." Solara's large eyes filled with tears. "Will you help us rebuild? Will you teach us to be strong like you?" "We will help you rebuild," Amy promised. "But you do not. Need to be like us? The galaxy needs people who are good at healing and making peace. We will be the fighters so you can be the healers. Back on the defense station, Jake Harrison was meeting with representatives from dozens of alien species. The Galactic Council had asked him to help create new laws for the galaxy. Everyone wanted to make sure they stayed on the good side of humanity. The humans have agreed to protect all peaceful species, Jake told the gathering. But in return, you must agree to help each other. No more watching while bullies hurt the weak. No more pretending that talking can solve every problem. Dr. Nimra, the gentle blue-furred healer, raised her hand. What if some species refuse to follow these new rules? Jake's expression became serious. Then they will meet the Deathworld fleet. The alien representatives looked at each other nervously. They had all seen the recordings of the battle against the Void Stalkers. No one wanted to face human weapons. Commander Veltar, the crystal being who had first received the distress call, stood up. The humans have shown us that sometimes peace can only be kept by those who are very good at war. We accept these terms. 1 year later, the galaxy was a different place. Pirates and bullies had disappeared almost overnight. Slave traders found their ships mysteriously exploding when they tried to capture people. Warlords discovered that declaring war on peaceful planets was a very quick way to meet human marines. Admiral Lisa Carter received a message that made her laugh out loud. It was from the President of Earth, telling her that alien species from 3 other galaxies had sent messages asking for peace treaties with humanity. Word was spreading that humans were not to be messed with. Captain Steve Murphy's U.S. Extinction had become the most feared ship in known space. Pirates would surrender, just from hearing its name on the radio. But Steve used this fear wisely, visiting problem areas and making sure everyone behaved themselves. The final scene took place in Lisa's office on the defense station. Jake Harrison brought her a cup of Earth coffee and sat down in the chair across from her desk. Through the window they could see the blue and green planet of New Kelia, restored and beautiful once again. The galaxy is peaceful, Jake said. For the first time in centuries, no one is fighting wars or enslaving people. Everyone is too afraid of making humans angry. Lisa sipped her coffee and smiled. Jake, do you think we are the bad guys? We destroyed an entire species and scared everyone else into behaving. Jake thought about all the planets that were safe now, all the children who would grow up without fear of monsters. Lisa, we are not the bad guys. We're just very good at stopping. The bad guys. Outside their window, human and alien ships patrolled together, keeping the peace in a galaxy that had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the greatest mercy comes from the most merciless protectors, and sometimes the only way to keep innocent people safe is to make sure that evil people are very afraid of the consequences. The galaxy was peaceful, and it would stay that way as long as humanity was watching.